on.
Okay.
Yeah, there he goes. Right. Okay. Okay, everybody. We're going to start doing some recordings again. We're going to get this sorted out and get some episodes out to you. But major part of all of this and lots of stuff going on at the moment. It's starting to get busy. There's a ton of stuff sort of kicking off that we're going to be starting to let people know about. The main thing to go on, though, at this point in time, and the reason why, this introduction is a bit me kind of scrambling to do it as quickly as possible, is we have all hit, or the players have all hit level 6. They've finally managed to drag their way up to the next level after several stumbling attempts to bypass or deal with certain creatures. So we are gonna touch on what these guys have chosen to do in terms of leveling up, various other bits and pieces, and we're also obviously going to go through the standard stuff. So just to get the standard stuff out the way, we're doing the Abomination Vaults via Pathfinder 2nd edition, mostly remastered, not the fully remastered. I say mostly remastered. There are some things that we say that are wrong, are not the correct term anymore. There are certain spells that these players have that have been renamed or changed, but they still have the older version on their character sheets. And there are a couple of little occasions where there are things like tieflings kicking around when they don't exist anymore. It's that kind of thing. We have the odd little bit that kind of sits there and is ever so slightly annoying. Well, yes.
Because all we need is Neffy with an existential quandary.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Would she stand still if she was having one of those?
No. Get even more chaotic.
Worrisome. But yeah, so we're doing all of that. We're doing it via Foundry, which is by far and away one of the best virtual tabletops going on at the moment. Absolutely adore this system. The amount of stuff that I can now do, which I couldn't do before, and what's even better to make it even more fun is that for this adventure path, there's a whole lovely module that you can buy that Paizo put together themselves, which has a whole bunch of stuff in it. If you want to have a look at some of the other stuff that you can do, I run another Pathfinder game on stream periodically, once a month, and there's a whole extra host of things that I've added into Foundry on there, including visual effects, and all manner of fun little things like that. So when these guys are rolling dice, which they roll, when the streamed gang are rolling dice, which they do via the tabletop simulator, it'll do things like fire arrows from the character towards their target if they've remembered to target the creature. Little gamify things that they've added in that you can do. But yeah, so there's that. We've got sound effects, which are technically from Sirenscape. They are built into the module. They are technically from Sirenscape, so we'll mention them. And a variety of other bits and pieces. Okay, I've rambled. I've got that out as fast as I can, so that we can go around the houses and we can actually talk about levels. And just to make things fun, the little rolling banner that appears below me when we go to the other screen, I've already updated that because I was actually, thinking about it earlier and got it done. So, so that's on there as well. So you'll see some of the stat changes that are on there, and that sort of stuff is already built in. But let's talk about the actual levels and let's talk about people leveling up. So, do you want me to pick, or is one of you going to go first? I'm going to pick then. Fine. Moz, you go on the short straw.
Girls are free. Shit. Okay. So at this level, level 6, 3 picks. So for all of us each. All of us? No, not for all of us. That would leave somebody out. 3 picks each. One, the archetype feat I've picked up for this is Bastion Dedication. I get the feeling that as Moz, he probably understands that he's becoming more the meat shield, less shield, more meat. In a lot of these engagements, and maybe a shield and some usage of that skill set might be a good idea. So I've started to lean into Bastion for him. Doesn't do a huge amount just yet, apart from the class feat, or rather, it gives me reactive shield, which gives me a reaction, which is useful if I'm holding a shield. And I've also taken the class feat fighter shield warden, which again, leaning into using a shield because I might as well carry around a hunk of wood to save me from getting my face panel beaten at least one round early. And then the final pick, rather than going into a skill or enhancing a skill set or diving into a skill set, well, it is enhancing a skill set. I've taken an additional lore pick to add to my undead lore. Not undead lore? He says quickly, checking his stats.
Yeah, you usually share that with me.
Yes, there it is. No, it's not. Where's it gone? It's gone. It's run away forever.
Proficiencies, bottom.
There we go. Hell, I've got Hell Lore, Sailing Lore, Undead Lore, and now I've picked up Devils specifically. Because there is something coming down the pipe that Moz is acutely aware of, having been briefed before he came here. So, something to help down the line.
Okay. So I'm going to jump from Moz. I'm going to jump over to the other childlike individual in the group, Neffy.
I'm innocent. I don't know where you're getting this slander from, but So for Neffy, I was able to pick 4 different things. So first off, I picked Gang Up, which basically means that enemies are flat-footed as long as I'm within reach of a creature and an ally is. So they're always flat-footed for me.
It's off guard, but yeah.
It said flat-footed in the rules. Oh, she's in Wanderers.
Old,
I know.
yeah, old rules.
Don't get me started. I struggled to find the spell I was picking. Shadow Mark, so it allows me to avoid notice easier if I'm tailing a particular target. So if we find something and I want to sneak behind it, it's harder for it to spot me. I've been able to increase my deception. She's not deceptive at all. She's perfectly innocent. And I took basic wizard spellcasting, which has given me access to a bit more spells. So yes, there's a few things that she can do.
Yeah, with rogues being the skill sync characters in the game, the rogue gets another skill increase pretty much every level. So that's why the others won't have that, but Neffy does. Should we jump over to Phelan?
Okay. So I have taken, he says, scrolling up the thing. For my druid feat, I've taken Call of the Wild, which lets me convert prepared spells into summon animal. Because you never know when you might want to throw a weasel at someone.
Yeah, fair. No, yeah.
Go for the nards, boo, go for the nards. My archetype feat, I've taken expert herbalism, which now makes my alchemical brackets herbalism crafting level track my actual level, which is going to be useful, and also automatically gives me some preparation recipes at the appropriate levels.
Yep.
And following on that theme, I've taken magical crafting, because why not? Yeah. We may find, because this is very much a blueprints for everything system, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
We might find or buy blueprints more easily and readily than the items themselves, and then I can just crank some items out, especially if they're ones we could do with duplicates of.
Yep. And with the remaster, the rules for crafting have improved slightly in that it's no longer a base 4 days to craft thing. It's now a base 2 days to craft anything. So they have tried to speed it up and make it so that you're not wasting quite so much time sitting around doing nothing when you are a crafter. So they have tried to improve things a little bit.
Yeah, so basically some nice practical choices for me, plus launching weasels. Yep.
Weasel deployment system is always useful. Okay. last one then, Inver on the list. We're going with the sorceress.
So, my archetype feat, I took Spirit's Absolution, which means as long as I have a spirit, wisp, or remnant in my lamp, I can expend it, and as it's parting, off you go back to the River Souls, get some hit points. So, as it goes, it allows me to restore hit points, probably mostly to me, let's be honest, but also to an adjacent ally, if that is more useful.
Mm-hmm.
My class feat, this is broken, this is amazing. So this is Reach Spell. It is a level 1 feat, I realised, and it gives you an extra 30 feet on all your spell ranges. It also explicitly and in the rules turns your touch spells into spells with a range of 30 feet.
Yes,
Which,
I've
as
had
a
that one
squishy
for some
little
while.
sorceress that doesn't want to get anywhere near the fight, but most of the nice, tasty spells are touch spells.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be quite a lot of fun.
Yep.
And then, without any idea of what Neffy was doing, my skill feat was Lie to Me, which allows me to get better at catching people lying to me.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
I was expecting to
lie
use it
to
on the
you.
NPCs, but let's just see how this plays, shall we?
So the one thing to note about this, obviously, Lie to Me is brilliant in the fact that has happened, and I love that kind of coincidence. Reach spell, just for those of you that don't know, it's not an automatic, as in you don't automatically gain 30 foot. It is an action to turn a spell into a reach spell. So there is a certain action economy cost. And that is obviously important because there will be situations where Invo might not have the 3 actions to cast reach spell and then make an action, but it's an option. It's a good one, and it's a thing that's in there. So there's a whole host of stuff on there. Right.
And then I also got 2 more spells.
Oh, yes.
So I got a 1 level 3 spell as the last regular sorcerer's leveling up. Which I've chosen Rouse Skeletons, because I've never pretended that Inver is good. And it seems thematic for the dungeon, and it creates a nice damaging patch of difficult terrain. So I'm looking forward to the party reactions when I first use that. And then the other one, a feat I took a level or 2 back, gives me an innate occult spell at this level. So I have chosen Worm's Repast, which is about as grim as you might think, but it is from the adventure path. So again, I'm sticking to getting to play with the things that are unique just to this adventure path.
Always fun when you start adding in slightly dodgy stuff that your characters can do. Now, in terms of that sort of thing, and just to maintain a theme and slightly weird or dodgy things that people are going to do, we do have an announcement for 2 of the people in the party that's going to happen next episode. But just to be aware, there are things afoot, and you will hear about them next time. But just prepare yourself for that, because we've got the 2 on the end there. That Inver and Moz, Kess and JJ, they will have something to announce next week, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Don't worry, they're not doing anything to hurt, nothing that would go against the rules of the nation in which we live. And I'll leave you guessing for a week.
Incredibly suspicious.
Oh God, yes.
They're coming on a heist.
Hey. These two constant. Well, actually, no. To be fair, Cassie's okay. It's more JJ constantly trying to interrupt the start of the episode. So I'm having my own back.
I see. Sicking government agencies on us is the plan to stop me from interrupting you. I will escalate appropriately. You have been warned.
No, don't start the game of escalation.
Oh dear. Anyway,
Start that game.
Come
Anyway.
with me. We'll be in a world of pure escalation.
So, my players can see this. Obviously, the stream recording, whatever we want to call it, that currently can't see this because I have not swapped over to the map yet, and people can't see that sort of thing. But you guys, you'd done quite a lot of digging around and looking around this floor. It's the one that you had sort of accidentally gone a level down, realised that that wasn't quite where you were at, and come back up again. And you met a rather wonderful fellow. He's ever so nice. He's ever so genteel. Thank you very much. All the rest of that sort of stuff. He's a brilliant individual. Mummy, mind you, dead, most definitely undead. But he was kind of cool and chatted to you, and he was all right. Seemed reasonable. And he gave you a password so that you could go bypass all of these traps and everything else like that. However, it's relatively clear now that you only have a few avenues left to explore in this area. There is the long corridor where you know that the basilisks are at the very end of the corridor, and there is a walkway over the top of where you went to get to the bar, which you also haven't gone down that way. So before I throw anything onto the map, I suppose we need a kind of in-character discussion about what on earth you're going to do next.
Well, what's silent?
Every time I leave it up to you guys to sort of start the episode, and that's how it goes.
Didn't we have some sort of convoluted plan, or did we do this and I was just really tired, involving looking over the balcony into the thing below and some kind of contraption? Or did we do whatever that was and I more or less slept through it?
Contraption.
That makes me think of when we looked at the one-way glass.
That was the one.
Yeah. Out of the funny mirror in the tavern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
also had the very similar thing in the room to the north of here, where it had a viewing window and a secret door in it that you could go through the viewing window.
Mm.
That led out to a watery cavern that may or may not have had a hydra in it.
That was the one downstairs. No, there's specifically on this floor, and it leads you onto the corridor where the basilisks are.
Oh, yes, I recall.
Because looking over here, we can see that flesh abomination, flesh warped monstrosity thing that's, half a dozen joinings in a meat suit.
Yeah.
So, what particular variety of horror and horrific abomination do we want to encounter next, people? Because there's the one obviously downstairs, just here over in the Colosseum. Which I don't think is any good way to get out of here. Otherwise, it probably would have done. And it's of course going to be summoned, which seems entirely like a problem. Or there's the Hydra further downstairs, or the fact that we just need to go further downstairs. Because unless these horrors can get out, yes, they're horrible and they're abominations and they're a problem. But unless they can get out, they're not much of a problem.
Yeah, I was wondering what's the sort of risk reward for engaging any of these things. Not in the people paying us money, but does it get us anywhere useful to fight the big thing, or do we get all knackered up letting it eat us half to death, and then we find out that there wasn't actually anything useful or probative?
Oh,
That.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything particularly useful or probative. About the only place we haven't explored is some of the walkways a little bit west of us, down that main causeway piece. Some of those elevated walkways, that's about the only thing we haven't done around here.
Well, let's go and have a look there then, because we know that we know there's big and scary stuff in most of the other ways.
All right then, let's take a bimble.
Okay. So, just for simplicity, I'm going to start shuffling some figures through various walls and things like that. The power of being the GM, of actually being able to just pull people across the void, as it were. And one more. And what I'll also do is swap the view over. Oh no, that's That's not what I wanted it to see. Let me just... okay, I'm going to pause. Just pause, and there we go. That little problem has been fixed, and we are back. Okay, so as noted, you are now on various ways you could have skirted around and got up onto this platform. So this is where you are now, roughly speaking. Obviously, I've dumped you in specific places. I'm sure you'll reorganize yourself very, very shortly. As you kind of come round, and I believe the plan had been to kind of lift yourself up onto this rather than risk going past the basilisk. So to the east of you, as it stands where I've just pinged, that is the long corridor that does go down. Pause. Right. All technology again. It's wonderful stuff. So as I was saying, so to the east of you, as things stand, that is the what you can see at the moment is the balcony edge that leads up to that long central parade kind of corridor. That's where you know the basilisks are, to at the southern end of that corridor. To the south of you, that's the route that goes underneath through to the bar. So that goes underneath the walkway that you're currently on. And to the east of you, as things stand, is a double door, or a set of double doors rather. This first set is open. Looks like it's just been left open. No specific reason for it. It's just there's an open doorway with a 5-foot gap, and then that another set of double doors which are closed up. And that's to your west. And just to do the full circle, to the north is where the Spectre was, where the room full of chains was, with the grate. All of that sort of stuff is to the north of you, as it stands.
Awesome. So let's take a... Moz does not trust the portcullis. In fact, hang on, I can't pick a minute. The player can see it. Can the character see it? There look to be teeny tiny murder slits next to this portcullis.
So yeah, I'm gonna say that you do spot it. You spot that there are indeed teeny tiny murder holes in the side of the wall.
So does anybody, just as a matter of curiosity, does anybody remember, those sarcophagi on one of the other levels that were absolutely fine and nothing was a problem until, of course, something gribbly jumped out of it, which is a whole bunch of corpses? I get this horrible itchy feeling in the back of my face. Hopefully there's nothing behind these murder holes. And I will attempt to peer in as much as it's possible. Whilst also seeing if I can move this grating thing. Or is it not a grating?
Spirit sense. See if there's anything within range.
That's a fair point. We can give it a roll and we can find out. So you set out your senses, you try and see if you detect anything. And at this point in time, you do not detect anything.
Okay.
Did anyone else hear those suspicious words from the GM?
Oh, yes.
Why
Effie,
does
can you
nobody
hear
trust me?
Because you're the
You're
GM.
I'm going to listen. No one trusts the smiling GM. Can I listen and can I sense any magic-y woo-woo?
Magic-y woo-woo. You set out your senses, you try and listen behind the door, you do not hear anything on the other side of the door. Detect magic does not appear to pick up anything.
Okay. I obviously relay that to the group. And then I prep my crossbow.
Of course you do. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything obvious holding this portcullis thing in the way?
Or as in anything holding it up, or
Yeah. Does it
not
look,
that you can
does it look
see,
wedged?
but you'd imagine it might be built into the sort of space above. And it's certainly not the mechanism for it is not on this side.
Mm. Ooh. Phelan,
Yes.
you said you got a climbing kit, right? At some point. Do I remember that right?
A climbing kit.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have a climbing kit.
Uh,
I have a grooming kit.
Don't think
Ah,
the same did the same thing.
probably not what I just think it's something just to wedge this maybe so it doesn't drop down on our heads. You know, when we step forward through it and then try and open one of the doors and it goes, ha ha, you're stuck forever. Stabby, stabby, stab.
Okay, so the one thing you have of a climbing nature is a climbing bolt that is in your general stash. So it is a crossbow bolt that would that has twine attached to it, which becomes a rope.
Ooh. No, I'm a fool. It's me. I got the climbing kit.
Oh, well done. Yeah, well done.
I knew someone had it.
Yes, well, you did. This is true. You did know somebody had it.
Oh,
It was you all along.
it's me. Does it look wedgeable? Does this portcullis look wedgeable?
With a bit
Can I
of
wedge
work,
it?
with a bit of effort, you probably would have to bend one of your pitons to really get the best benefit out of it. But yes, you probably can manage it. I would allow for an athletics check to wedge, to create a wedge.
To wedgie the portcullis.
Mhm.
Athletics is +12. That's not bad. It's not bad. It's a dozen. What's one piton between friends? That's a 16 plus 12 for 28.
Okay.
No, 30. Yeah, 28. Yeah, I'll do math.
You're not 100% convinced. You think if this thing dropped with any speed, as in if it was weighted to drop, then probably would. If it's just its own natural weight, then you'll be fine. But if there is any sort of mechanism to really get it on a shift, you're not overly happy about the way that would work. What you do notice, though, as you're putting stuff together, is that on the right-hand side of this portcullis, on the bits that you can see, there is some sort of acid damage to the metal in those locations.
So to the northern one as we're looking at them.
Yes.
Can I recall knowledge? Have I got anything relevant? Is actually a better question. That might indicate what might leave acid up there like that. I might just look at Phelan as somebody who knows about animals.
Yeah, nature or arcana is probably the best bet. Nature is most likely.
Let's have a think about what's acidic.
Yeah, could be
Apart from
any.
you when I'm particularly stressed.
Could be any number of things, including the fact you are a potion creator. You know that there's potions that you could make that would cause acid damage. It's not, acid flasks aren't exactly uncommon. And you can imagine spells that fire gouts of acid. There's a myriad number of things that could do that.
Yeah, could be out really.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, let's shuffle up and have a look. See. And Mozzle listen at the door before giving it a nudge.
Don't sound nervous at all.
You can't hear anything. Absolutely nothing.
Box it.
Okay. You open up the door.
Some fucking river doors.
So this appears to be a central chamber to some sort of multi-chambered area. It has a vaguely octagonal shape, with the north and south have 2 iron doors. Not the normal wooden doors that you've seen. These are 2 solid iron doors. There is a stone door heading out to the west. And in fact, the door that you are currently at is stone and wood construction. So these are thick, heavy duty doors that have been put in these places. There is on the door as you open it and you kind of look it back in, there is actually an engraving on the door. It is of a dripping skull with a mouth that's stuffed with weeds rammed into it. The western door is actually kind of pitted with it's got sort of iron frame around it. So not only is it stone, but that one's stone and iron. That one's really designed as a fortress type door. But the iron itself is a bit rusted and pitted.
Given where the portcullis and the murder holes are, this is someone's panic chamber, isn't it?
Or at least on the other side of those fancy doors, yeah.
Well, the defences point the way we've come.
Yeah. And the iron doors are for stopping people from getting around the back of whoever's in those murder holes.
Yeah.
And we've got more fortress doors up ahead. So, yeah, this zone is feeling more defensible. Which is interesting considering it's the entertainment floor.
Yeah, but Bosch guests possibly might need somewhere to run to.
Yeah. Let's keep this free and open. Any acid damage on this door?
Nope.
Huh. Anyone want to have a pokey around and see if there's any... Actually, having walked over here, does anybody want to have a look around at the floor and so make sure like this area ain't trapped?
I can look for traps, and I believe I have a... Hang on. Yeah, I have Trap Finder. Oh, it needs to pop back in. Trap Finder, which does... You get a +1 circumstance bonus to perception checks to find traps. And it increases my AC if a trap goes off.
Nice.
Okay, I think that's it for that. Yes, and I've got a disarmament thing if I need it. So yes, I'm going to look for traps, please.
Okay, you start having a look around the chamber, specifically for traps or anything of that nature. You don't notice any sort of traps.
Okay.
Screw it. Let's pop the door if we can.
Okay.
Ooh.
This one swings open. What you immediately notice is that this is some sort of guard room. There are weapon racks and various bits and pieces like this. But it would appear that this whole place has been looted. And I don't mean like, oh, there's nothing on the racks. There is clear sign that things have been pulled off, broken bits of the actual weapon rack where people have forcibly removed things. There's not tracks per se, because you think it was probably done a long time ago, but there's enough in the dust that makes you kind of go, yeah, okay, we're not the first people to be here. We're not the first people to be looking around and looting this place.
Mm-hmm.
This looks more like an archer's chamber. And I want you to stop right there. So this looks like an archer's chamber. The northern wall of this has 3 levers that are clearly used as some sort of drop mechanism and raise mechanism for the portcullis. And it looks quite rusted as you kind of step into the room and you start pulling on those chambers. You start looking at them and you go, yeah, it looks a bit rusted. It probably still works. It's okay. As you take that next step to get into the room, you realise that stood right by the side of you, having tucked themselves into the corner, is a humanoid shape. I use my words very carefully. Next to you stands a female figure, long hair, which seems to be moving in a wind that doesn't exist in this room. You can see it shifting along, holding what appears to be a long sword, which is curved and barbed, or at least you think it is in some way, in one hand, and a slightly shorter weapon in the other hand. All of this pales in significance to the person themselves, though, because all of this stuff that I have described to you is held together in space, but is formed of pure shadow. It looks like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
With these 2 piercing eyes and these 2 blades. I need you to roll initiative.
Don't love that.
So we're going to pause the recording so I can get this done. And yeah, we're going to roll for initiative. Right, everyone, let's start thinking about some initiatives then, and we'll get the music changed up just to that lovely versatile music that we've got kicking around for these sorts of situations. Okay, so let's get that in. There we go. Got some proper music now. Right, let's start with Moz.
13 on the dice and 13 initiative for 26 total.
26.
I can't word.
Okay. Inva.
10 on the dice with 10 plus 1 for 21, please.
21. Okay. Neffy.
I'm going to need you to do the maths because my brain is not working. So 9 on the dice plus 13.
22.
Thank you.
And Phelan.
Grand total of 34.
34. Okay. Well, I'll tell you now, just for ease, Phelan, you get to go first.
Okay. This must obviously be a crap Pathfinder monster because he's not out initiativing everybody. However,
Say this louder and summon it to you. Go on.
I've no idea where it is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's happening.
In fact, has any indication, even Moz going, "Oh crap, what's that?" Reached
Not
me?
really. Not yet. No, not so much. It's not been your action yet, Moz. You've not been able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the option of delaying your turn, so you can delay it until something has happened, if you so desire.
I would like to delay my turn at least to between Moz and Neffy.
Okay. Well, you get to drop in whenever you want, just to be aware. The next thing to act is the creature. So, the very first thing it's going to do
Is leave? We left the door open?
no.
We can go now?
So
Just gonna smile and offer you a Vegemite sandwich.
those little glowing white eyes flash with bright light over you, Moz. You don't feel anything change. There's no roll for you to make, but it flares its eyes as it looks at you. It's
I think
then
you're cute too.
going to reach out with the sword. Now, it doesn't strike at you. It just almost tries to place it on you. And it's more like it's trying to touch you rather than anything else.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I would like
Guys, and
to
gentle
not.
touching.
Nice gentle touching.
Much gentle touching of the tips of our swords together.
She's not trying to
Okay.
lift your chin with the sword tip, is she?
So it makes
That's a
not
whole
yet.
different encounter.
it makes one strike against you. An 18 on the dice with a plus 18 for a 36.
Okay, that's better.
Oh, I'm toast at 24. So that
So
beats it by 12.
that would be
You say about crap monsters?
I'd say that's a
Someone
bit
else.
more like it.
that would be a crit then, yeah? Yeah? Huh?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll remind you that Phelan said the things about monsters.
So the first thing it does is 2d10 plus 6 doubled damage. Sorry, 2d10 plus 6 doubled damage. So that's 19 doubled. So that's 38.
Yeah, it is.
Jesus.
And then there is a sudden sharp pain, as whatever it did to you in the first place appears to have made you even more vulnerable to critical hits against this attack.
Oh no.
So you actually take in total 40 points of damage.
Ugh.
You'll be glad to know
Ow.
that that's all it can do this turn. And it's now Moz's go.
I mean, running
So is
away
it
was an option.
There is an uncharacteristic free action yelp from Moz. Oh, shadowy stranger, what are you doing?
Bad touch.
Um,
Bad touch.
As Moz accelerates using his he will step. I've met the GM before. And
So
then he'll step again.
one, and then you'll step again. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
And then run like fucking Flynn for his
You're
first
going to
action.
shut the door.
I think that's normally an action.
Those
to
are
shut
an
the
action.
door.
Yep, interacting with the doors are actions. So this is your third action to move at this point.
It is. It is. And to explain, there's some shadowy bastard back there, and they are not nice. They are not nice at all.
Okay.
I think that's my third action.
Okay then. Fair enough. Neffy.
Okay, so I know something's happened.
Mm.
I don't know what's happened.
No.
Moz has come barreling out the corner, yelping, going, "There's some shadowy bastard!" and looking decidedly worse for wear.
Bastard. I want to be one of them. I want to be a shadow. 5, 10. If I go 15.
Yeah, you can't see it there.
I know, that's annoying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I was thinking of going and seeing it. You know what? I'm just gonna. So I prepped my arrow before we hit combat anyway.
Mm.
I can how I can't remember how it works in this. If you want to prep to shoot, or is it just I change my move?
So
my
there's a couple of options. You can delay. That allows you to go wherever you want, but it's always after the current action. So effectively, if you went, I'm going to delay until the creature comes out, well, you'd have to wait until its turn has finished. Or you can use two actions to prepare an action, which allows you to instigate it at any trigger point that you like. So you can, at that point, say, as soon as I see it, Not even at the end of its turn. As soon as it's visible, I would get to do a 1-action ability.
Okay, but then I can't reload when I've done that. I am going to do that, though. I'm going to prepare that as soon as I see it,
Okay.
I will then shoot it.
Yep, that's fair enough. As a note, Phelan, do you want to go at any point now? Because you delayed your turn.
I will go now.
Yep.
If you drop me down to...
Yep, I will do.
And...
We'll put you at the same as Neffy, so you can effectively choose at that point then which way round you go. Next turn.
Does Moz look particularly...
Good.
Upset.
He feels about 45 on a scale of 90.
Yes.
When you get to 50, when you get to 100, you'll just be going, yeah, I can actually now legitimately do this by saying I look about 50%.
You're not wrong.
Okay. We'll drop a 2-action level 2 heal on.
Okay.
Is Mozzington's, which is going to be 2d8 plus 17. $26.
Ooh. Nice.
And I am going to instruct when it's actually my turn, so that I can manipulate tokens.
Yep. Good point. If I do that, it should allow you to now.
Yeah. I'm going to get Olerin to flank the entrance there.
Okay. Awesome stuff. Right. That will then swing it round to Inva's turn.
So I'm still not really any the wiser as to what's going on.
Nope. Moz has just come stomping back after staggering back through the door.
Not
Shut
wrong.
the door.
Shut the door. Seems fairly reasonable. You shut the door.
Moz, do we need to be somewhere else?
Well, he just wanted to, get back here and be a little bit not around the corner with something that just tried to rip my heart out with its sword for no apparent good reason or compensation. It felt like being around a corner and dying horribly on my own. Like it's a bad idea.
Do we need to be somewhere other than here?
Okay. As you're discussing this,
Door opens.
no.
Ah.
They come through the fucking wall, probably.
Moz, you recognise that this creature was not physically there, really. No, it's just a creature of shadow. And just behind you, there's an arrow slit from that room. As you turn round, and Neffy, you also catch this and see shadow spilling out of the slit in the wall that forms itself into the shape of that creature as it just flows through the gap.
Wait, I can see it now. I can shoot it.
You can, indeed, make a reaction to it because you did save a reaction for it. So yes, you can.
Okay.
Do we need to be somewhere else? Well, I don't think it's going to help anymore.
30.
Can I see it from where I am, Matt?
Yes.
Can I do a shadow plane law check before my turn finishes?
No, because this happens on its turn. Sorry, because
right. Okay.
Yeah,
we had talked long enough. It had rolled round.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Yeah. I was at that point going, you know what? I'm not. Those are your actions to make those comments and talks.
Yep.
Okay. So 30. 30 is a hit.
Okay. It's not flat-footed or anything because I haven't identified it, so it's just my standard 2d6.
It is indeed.
So 9 points of damage, and it's the striking hand crossbow, if that makes a difference.
So it's at least magical, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the arrow just appears to pass straight through it. Has no effect whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay. As it flows through the wall for its first action, it is then going to cast a spell.
Mm-hmm.
All of you,
Anyone
apart
counterspell?
from all of you, apart from Inver, are plunged into complete darkness, even though you've got dark vision. Only greater dark vision has any effect on this whatsoever. Okay, if you've got greater dark vision, you're fine.
And my spirit's hole casts dim light for a 10-foot radius.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't help.
No.
Okay.
Suppress. This type of spell suppresses magical light if it is
yeah.
higher level than your.
Yeah.
Currently, it casts that at as a second level spell. So.
I don't know how the
I
Regis,
doubt
not Regis
your.
Lantern, the spirit dwelling
Yeah.
would be counted. Okay, cool.
All right. So yes. So you are now in pitch black. Now, what this does do is it conceals the creature from anybody. Conceal obviously it has the effect of a DC 5 flat check. So it's not hidden. It's just concealed while it's in here. That is also, because darkness is quite a hefty spell, all of its actions. In fact, I'm going to reverse before we get to the end of the turn. I've just noticed something. There's a 3-action spell to cast darkness. It did not have 3 actions because it moved. So you are not plunged into darkness right this second. I'm not sure whether or not this is going to be a good thing for you or not. Because what it's going to do instead then... it really wants to hurt Moz.
I mean, to be fair, it has, mate.
Really wants to hurt Moz.
Yeah, it's already done that bit.
It then seems to flit through the room. Moz, you get an attack of opportunity.
Oh! Nice. Right, where's my patty stick? End this thing.
With your ghost touch twatty stick.
It's my ghost touch twatty stick that I'm always carrying in my hand with a plus 17, and the dice says I'm re-rolling that with a hero point. The dice
Quite
says
eloquent with the dice.
It does. That's a 17 and 14 for 28, 31.
That's a hit.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's on the fish. Right.
Pathfinder monster.
Somebody said it wasn't going to be that beefy, didn't they, Phelan?
2d10 plus
Not hurt me yet.
2d10 plus 4 is... Oh, God, that's 7 with the ghost touch.
Okay. If it's just 7 in total...
Yeah.
All of it goes through. You do actually hurt it. You feel yourself connect against this creature. Unfortunately, it's then going to reach out and try and touch you.
This is excessive.
A 14 on the dice for a 32. Is that my maths is right? Yeah, 32.
Beat me by 8.
It's not a crit then, at least there's that much. But it does mean I only need to roll a 16 or higher to crit you.
Someone glare at this thing and just put it down.
That will be another 14 points of damage.
Minus 14. That's not so bad. That's not so bad.
Okay. That is its 3 actions. Moz, it's your turn.
I would like to hit this thing again. Guys, please cooperate. Get with the schedule. It's 10 plus 17 for 27.
That is a hit.
Okay. We're working on its AC. This is good. Dice be nice. Okay, that's better. That's 6 plus 4 for 10 damage.
Okay. Again, that all seems to go through.
There's nowhere to push it, so I'm feeling the exacting strike on this.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you at home who can't remember me using this in a long while, if I fluff this, my map stays the same. So plus 12. Ugh. Here's where we get the test of it. 6 plus 12 for 18.
Oh, that's a miss. That's a real miss.
Okay, so between 18 and 27. Let's go again. Let's go again with the same map. Might as well go with the third strike, because we're not getting out of this corner. Oh, fuck that dice. That went on the table. That's a 12 plus 12 for 24.
That's a hit.
Okay. Ugh. 3 plus 4 for 7.
Okay, 7 more points of damage. Okay, so at this point you get to choose. Do you want Phelan to go first or Neffy to go first?
Don't mind.
I will go first.
Okay, we'll leave it as
And
it is then on the chart. And it is Phelan's
And
turn.
I will cast the good old favorite Flaming Sphere
Okie dokie.
in Shadow Lady Square.
Mm-hmm.
So can we
Okay.
have a
Reflex
basic reflex 6?
play reflex 6. Okay, so on the dice is an 18 and it's a plus 18 reflex save, so that's a 36.
Pathfinder monster.
Unreasonable.
Unreasonable, yes. But the flaming sphere is there. Technically, it is still there, so it's just
And-
managed to avoid the damage at this point.
Because critically succeeding takes no damage.
Correct, yeah. Yep. That's 2 actions. You do have 1 more left.
I'm going to tell Badger Breath to get over this side of me.
Okay. Under which circumstances that moves it on to Neffy.
Can I try and identify it?
You absolutely can. Because of the new ways that the rules work and critical failure isn't quite so terrible for you, I will tell you, you can make a number of checks, either religion or any applicable law to undead creatures.
It would have to be religion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is 18 on the dice plus 11, so 29.
That's not bad. That's a success. So you fought something similar to this before, and you ended up backing away from it, I believe. You fought shadows before. This is a shadow, except this is a greater shadow. This is
Right.
very clearly one of much, much more power than the ones you've seen before. They have a whole heap of stuff that is bad. So you get to ask you get to ask a question of me.
What?
Is the airspeed velocity of a laden swallow?
Is it African or
I was gonna say-
European? That's the real ticket.
I can't remember what the exact phrasing is, but like, what's the thing that we need to be able to hit it? Because I know it probably is.
Okay, so
not vulnerable,
you're after
but-
immunities, resistances, and that kind of thing. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it will take 20 less damage from every attack. Unless the attack is magical, at which point you half that down to 10. And if it is ghost touch or force or vitality damage, it will take full damage. Okay. So, there are, however, a whole bunch of immunities to then add on top. It is immune to death effects, diseases, paralysis, poison, precision damage, and anything that will try and make it unconscious.
Was that force, and what were the other ones that would go straight through?
Force,
Vitality.
Ghost Touch, Vitality. Vitality
annoying.
being the new name for positive, I believe.
Yeah, because my thing is now a void spell. which
Yes,
won't do
indeed.
anything.
Yeah.
Electric won't do anything. I literally cannot do anything. Apart from the fact that I've identified it. Moz
I mean-
is nearby. I can try and shoot it. It's flat-footed.
Yeah, remember the other thing as well. Yes, it takes reduced damage from all of these things. If you've got a magical weapon or spell, it doesn't reduce all of that damage. It is only reducing it by 10. Admittedly, that's quite a big number, but, you know.
Like, it's really hard for me to hit 10 points with a
Mm,
thing. But
mhm.
it's currently flat-footed for me, so I reload and I'm going
Yeah.
to shoot it.
I'm just going to remind you of one other thing that it's immune to.
Flat-footed.
Precision damage. It does not take precision damage.
So,
So your sneak attack does not work.
oh, shit. I really genuinely cannot do anything then.
I mean, you can distract it and hope to...
Yeah, I'll shoot it anyway and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
18 plus 15, so 32, 33?
32, I think. Yes, that's a hit.
Okay. 10 points of damage, so no damage.
No damage. Yep. Nothing goes through.
Okay. That's me.
Inva.
Okay, so it is specifically vitality and not void, i.e. positive and not negative, that it's vulnerable to.
Mm-hmm.
Bolts. And light is not useful. Okay.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, you've got a bit of light in the room, haven't you? On Phelan, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't...
Yeah, but I'm not dropping 5d6 worth of damage on something that's
Mhm.
only going to take part of it. I have other options. Okay, I am going to cast a 3-action heal, which will have the beneficial effect of healing up the party while also doing vitality damage
Mhm.
at range. I am only hitting cast so that it tracks stuff properly, and then it might also give me an indication of what the heck I'm supposed to be rolling for damage on this.
So
1d8 per rank.
That was
one
3,
d8
it's
per rank.
3d8.
3d8, yeah.
Yep, and there's no +8 because it was the...
Correct, yeah.
Yep.
And I think I get a
Is-
fortitude save. It's a basic one. Yeah.
Probably, yes.
But then again, I only roll a 16, so it's going to fail the fortitude save.
In that case, it can take 11 points of damage. And do I roll
Mhm.
separately for healing for people?
No,
Don't I?
everybody gets the same.
Hey, Moz, have 11 points.
And that burst of
Ooh,
energy does
16.
seem to really knock quite a lot out of it. It did not seem happy about that at all.
Okay, that was it. That was 3 actions.
Yeah. The downside is it's now its turn. So it's gonna continue on its current path. So because I could cast darkness now, but that's my whole turn.
3-action heals don't need to see shit.
Yep. No, I'm going to try and deal with Moz because that's what I need to do. 16 on the dice. What did we say earlier about a 16 on the dice? With a plus
To meet
18.
My AC.
That is a critical hit against Moz again. So it seems to just be gently swinging these swords. There's no force behind them, but as soon as it touches, it burns against your skin. It is a horrendous feeling. So, okay. That's 50 to start with. And I've still got a D8 to roll.
Yes.
53 points of damage as this thing just strikes you with this sword, and it just seems to burn through your body. Then as a second action, it is then going to almost start to try and pull your essence from your body, and your shadow starts to be drawn away from your physical form. It was a crit, so you become enfeebled 3. Yeah, if you can add that to yourself, that would be wonderful. And it's cumulative. So every time it does this, it can add more levels of enfeebled to you. Up to a maximum of 4.
Joyful. Fuck.
In fact, you feel your shadow pulled off of you in that moment because you got to enfeebled 3 in one go. Now, when I pull a shadow from you, you become a shadow spawn under the control of the shadow that created it. So I have a shadow spawn pops up next to you. Yeah.
Shadows.
This seems problematic.
A shadow spawn, as in, is that actually Moz's shadow?
It looks like Moz's shadow. The shadow spawn effect effectively turns it into a minion, like that. So I'm not getting a full extra creature that's going to get actions. It's something I have to command. But it is there, and it's there on my turn. Now I've got your shadow. So the next thing I do is take a step down.
Mm-hmm.
Does Morse get an attack of opportunity?
No, because it's a step.
Not from the step. Do I get it from the
yes,
spawn?
yeah.
Because the spawn moved.
No, the spawn has not moved. It's just been created there.
Mm.
And these are ever so cute. Look. And, there's nothing special about them.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be an exasperated from Muzz. Okay.
It's your go.
Yeah. This feels like such a good use of my time and kidneys. And Moz will continue in the same vein. In fact, as a quick shout before he does start with the stabbing of the thing, Imva, don't you have a lantern or something that does weird, wacky stuff to spirits? Yeah, that's a nat one. That's not a good start.
Here I point.
I can't. I've used one already.
In fact, so Moz, you shout this out. You in your feeble state, you swing and try and hit this creature.
Complete whiff. Yep.
And we're going to end there because we're actually over an hour into this. We'll continue this next time.
Oh.
It's a good job we're not using critical miss cards and things like that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.